Hey, hello again. I'm Jonas.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
And we want to welcome you to another Wednesday Night Live here with us at 15minute.fitness, where we try to make fitness fit into real life, into your life, okay? So that's our main goal here, is to really bring fitness to the level of, we can do this. Anybody can do this, okay? It's not a program, it's a movement. We stand against the snake oil salesman. We stand against the people who tell you that, oh, you have to spend hours and it's really hard getting in shape. Honestly, it's not. You just have to use scientifically grounded principles and apply them in a structured fashion. So anyway, this is part two of our three-part series on metabolism, on crashed metabolisms, damaged metabolisms, broken metabolisms, fatigued metabolisms, downregulated metabolisms, adapted metabolisms, whatever you want to call it. When you're
scientifically, it's called
adaptive thermogenesis. Adaptive thermogenesis. When your body has learned how to exist and survive on a very few calories. Okay? And so a little bit of reflection on what we went over last time. We talked about the effects of a down-regulated metabolism. And the main thing for us, for our audience, for our tribe, is it makes losing weight really, really difficult. Once your body has adapted to living on very low calories, how do you spur further fat loss? How do you get it to continue losing fat? If you are at 800 calories and existing, maintaining your weight, where do you go from there? 400 calories? 300 calories? 200 calories? Organ shutdown? Death? Right? That's not what we want, okay? That's not what we want. So we're bringing this series to you to do a deep dive into what causes these metabolic adaptations. And next time we'll look forward to what can we do about them? How can we fix them? And are they permanent?
It's not permanent.
Not permanent. There is hope. Okay?
That is why we do not call it a crashed metabolism. It is not permanently crashed. It's become adapted. And we can re-adapt your metabolism back up to a healthy level. Let me tell you a story about one of our very first clients. When Julie came to us, she was eating about 900 calories a day. She'd gone on a diet. She'd done well. She had lost some weight. She was, at this point she had come to us, she was eating about 900 calories a day and waking up 2-3 hours before the rest of her family so that she could work out up to 2 hours every morning. Now, this workout included a lot of cardio, up to 2 hours every morning. She was stuck. For months, she had not lost any weight, and she couldn't figure out why. Why, when I'm doing this much exercise, and why, when I'm only eating this amount of food, why am I not losing weight?
And why wasn't she?
Her metabolism had adapted.
Exactly. Okay, so what causes metabolic adaptations? First of all, a caloric deficit, a diet, a weight loss diet. When you're eating fewer calories than you're intending to eat fewer calories than you expend. So what do? You drop your calories, right? You drop your energy intake. Well, after a while, your body adapts to that. If you are used to living on 2,000 calories and you drop it to 1,500, you might lose weight for a little while, but sooner or later, your body adapts to living at 1,500 calories, all right? And then what do? Well, you drop again, drop to 1,000 maybe. Well, you might lose weight for a little while, but then sooner or later, your body learns how to live on 1,000 calories. By conserving energy, it conserves that NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the fidgeting that we do on a normal basis. When we talk with our hands, we're lively, bobbing our head to music, or kicking our knee around, wiggling your legs. All those things that you do subconsciously, your brain now regulates. It says, oh no, I've got to conserve energy. I am in starvation mode. I'm going to die. So it conserves all that energy. All right, so the first thing that causes it is a caloric deficit. Now, the two aspects of a caloric deficit that affect metabolic adaptation are the magnitude of the caloric deficit. Are you only down 500 calories from your maintenance? Are you down 1,000 calories from your maintenance? The further you are down, the more you can expect your metabolism to adapt. All all right? And also the duration. This is why long diets do not work very well. After a certain amount of time, time being the operative term here, your body adapts. It learns to adapt. You know, it's just like any other system, right? What if you got a pay cut? What if you got a pay cut, you know, at your job?
What are you going to do? You're going to adapt. If all of a sudden your pay is cut by 500 calories, you're going to go through your budget and you are going to find a way to take $500 off of your expenditure each month. It's going to come out of your movie budget, out of your out to eat budget. It's going to come out of, you know, maybe you're not going to buy new shoes or a new dress this month. You learn to adapt to a lower salary. And that's what your body does with your calorie level. Think of it as your salary. All right? When you bring your calorie level down, your body learns to deal with that amount. You bring it down again. Your body learns again. The longer you stay here, the better your body becomes adapted and the harder it is to fix.
Exactly. So what is the next factor? Caloric deficit is the first factor. The next factor is overtraining or under recovery. Okay, let me explain a little bit. Okay, it's very important that you balance the amount of training or exercises that you do with your ability to recover from that exercise. Okay, imagine this. You have 100 recovery points. You know, just points are some arbitrary unit I'm just making up. But let's say that you have 100 recovery points. Okay, if your exercise stimulus makes you 80 points fatigued, no problem. You've got 100 recovery points to make it up with. If your exercise makes you 100 points fatigued, okay, cool. You can just barely cover that with your recuperative abilities. But if you are exercising and digging a hole with 120, 130 points of fatigue built up, then you are out exercising your ability to recover from that exercise. Ultimately, you are grinding your body into the dirt. Your exercise is no longer benefiting you. It is literally grinding you into the dirt. It is basically injury at that point. You are basically injuring yourself, okay, by allowing your fatigue levels to outstrip the stimulus that you are giving through the exercise. All right. So it's very important that whatever sort of exercise that you do not out-exercise your ability to recover. Now, think about this. When you are in a caloric deficit, your recuperative ability is lower than it normally is. Your body is not as able to recover from exercise. So if your solution to your weight loss plateau is to exercise more and harder, that's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. You are likely going in the opposite direction. You are likely putting your body into an overstressed state, which is not where you want to be. A diet is a stressor. Exercise is a stressor. Your recuperative ability is that which mitigates that stress, okay? And so you never want to out-exercise your recuperative ability. Okay, which brings me to another point. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, which exercise is going to fatigue you more?
Good.
Cardio or resistance?
Okay, look, there are two different types of fatigue that we need to discuss here. It's very important we make this distinction. There is local fatigue, which means in one particular muscle group. Let's say I do a set of bicep curls. My biceps are locally fatigued, all right? At the end of a set of 10, I can't do another set of 10 immediately. My muscle is fatigued. I've got to wait 90 seconds, 2 minutes maybe, before I can execute another set of 10 of those biceps curls because of the local muscular fatigue. And did you hear how long it took me? It took me 90 seconds or a couple minutes to recover from that stimulus I just provided, the local fatigue. Now, contrast that with systemic fatigue. Only my biceps were fatigued locally in that resistance training example I just said. Let's say I do cardio. Cardio produces something called systemic fatigue, and that begins primarily with the central nervous system and involves every system in the body, the endocrine system, musculoskeletal system, and the central nervous system especially. All right. Basically, it fries your whole body. And think about this. If you did one of my 15-minute workouts every day for 6 days in a row, as we prescribe, on the 7th day, could you do another 15-minute workout? Probably so, because all that local fatigue that you did with all the different exercises, it recovers very quickly. What if you ran a marathon 6 days in a row? If you even could, do you think on that 7th day you could run another marathon? You'd be fried, you guys. You would be absolutely fried. All right? Your central nervous system would not allow your nerves to fire regularly, right? It's called systemic fatigue, and it takes a lot longer to recover from. So that is another suppressor on your metabolism. The more systemic fatigue that you produce, the longer it takes to recover, and the more out of balance you are with that overtraining, under recovery balance that you must maintain, you guys. So if you are under recovered from your training, then you can expect your metabolism to suffer. You can expect it to suffer.
So far we've got caloric deficit, and we've got overtraining and under recovery. Mm-hmm. The third part we mentioned last week is your hormones.
Sure enough. And you could ask, well, okay, is this, we termed it as kind of a poisonous hormonal cocktail, a poisonous hormonal environment that an adaptive metabolism produces. You could rightfully ask, well, is this a cause of a suppressed metabolism, or is it an effect? Well, actually, it can be both. It can be both. All right. So we're talking about causes tonight. So we'll talk about it in that sort of framework. First of all, your hunger signalers, leptin and ghrelin, they go through the roof. All right. So you're hungry all the time. All right. Also, your stress hormones, cortisol especially. And cortisol, your cortisol levels will rise, and that stresses your body out. When you are in an environment, a hormonal milieu, in which your cortisol levels are extremely high, you can expect to lose muscle mass, and you can expect actually to put on fat mass. Now, in an extreme caloric deficit, you're not going to be putting on anything, probably, but you are simply not in an environment conducive to healthy body composition change, which is more muscle, less fat.
Keep in mind that cortisol, the stress hormone, okay, he said it's a poisonous cocktail. So yes, if you are stressed, if you have outside stressors, if someone in your family is ill, there's a death in the family, you lose your job, those are outside stressors. They're going to cause your cortisol to go up, and that is going to suppress your metabolism. Mm-hmm. Like we said before, being on a low caloric diet is a stressor in itself. The low calories can also raise your cortisol. Over exercising and under recovery is a huge stressor for your body. It can raise your cortisol. So if your cortisol is not already raised from outside stressors, the first two can come in and raise your cortisol on their own.
And the crazy thing is, all of these components that we're talking about fit together so very easily. What are you likely to do when you stop losing weight? Drop your calories even further. What are you likely to do in the gym? I'm going to work out harder. You know, what are you likely to feel? Stress. I'm not losing weight anymore. Oh my gosh, you have just set up. I mean, all the parts have fallen perfectly into place for you to be in a metabolic, I don't want to say shutdown because it's not forever, but metabolic lockup, all right? A severely down-regulated metabolism. And that is not where you want to be at all. Now, another aspect hormonally are your sex hormones, okay? Testosterone and estrogen. Properly speaking, we both make testosterone and estrogen, okay? And it's very important that they stay in the proper balance. And this becomes very imbalanced in an adaptive metabolism. So what does that mean? Well, once again, just like with high cortisol levels, muscle mass starts being a primary target for energy use. Your body, instead of tapping its fat stores, will very likely tap into its muscle mass to turn it into sugar to use as energy. All right? It's more likely to store any extra energy that we have available in our system as fat rather than as muscle tissue. All right? And these are the sex hormones, y'all. They can cause sexual problems, and likely will when you have a severely suppressed metabolism. All right? It's not somewhere you want to be for a multitude of reasons. Finally, the last one. Thyroid.
Thyroid.
The thyroid is the main metabolic regulator in your body. Okay, it is a hormone that signals, it speeds up or slows down your metabolism. Okay, if you've ever heard of anybody who's hypothyroid, does not produce enough thyroid hormone, they often get medication for it in order to speed up their metabolism so that they can maintain a healthy body weight. Somebody who is hyperthyroid, we actually have a good friend who, after having COVID, his thyroid was enlarged and he is now hyperthyroid. He's making too much of the thyroid hormone and his body is wasting away, quite honestly. And he's having to contemplate getting medication to suppress his thyroid. Anyway, thyroid is that big a deal, and it is very much suppressed as your metabolism downregulates. Why? Your body thinks it's starving. So of course, it is going to do everything possible to conserve every last bit of energy, calories that it can. Okay? And so what is the effect? Again, you have put together this poisonous hormonal cocktail, a hormonal milieu and environment which makes further weight loss almost impossible. Now, I don't want to say completely impossible because we do have studies that show the Minnesota Starvation Project, for instance, during World War II, they allowed some drafted young men to choose, rather than being sent to the front, they could basically be starved for 6 months. So the government could study the effects of starvation on a person. Okay, their maintenance calories were cut in half for 6 months. They never, ever stopped losing weight. They lost weight the entire time. At the end of it, they were skeletons. They looked just like the people coming out of the concentration camps, the Holocaust victims. All right, so I'm not telling you, science says that you can continue losing weight, but you know what? It's going to be extremely difficult. If you can't lose weight at 800 calories, where do you go from there? 400. And then you're facing possible organ shutdown, organ failure. And probably what will be harvested is muscle tissue, and you will end up a skeleton. A very hungry, stressed, non-sexual functioning skeleton. That's not where we want to be. In our next episode, we're going to tell you how you can reverse all of this, how you can get yourself out of this hole that you've dug yourself into, because you can, and it's really not hard. It just takes some knowledge and some emotional maturity and some discipline.
Remember at the beginning, we told you a story about one of our very first clients, Julie. Well, we put Julie through a program to repair and reboot her metabolism. And Julie was able to subsequently lose weight. And when she was finished with her diet and went back to her maintenance phase, was able to move her calories up to 2,100 calories without gaining weight.
Mm-hmm. So from eating 900 calories a day and exercising an hour and a half every day to exercising 15 minutes a day and eating closer to 2,000 calories. Yeah, that's the power of metabolism, you guys. That's the power of metabolism, and that's why we want to get it working in your favor. The very first 4 weeks of any program that we put a client on is a metabolic reboot. We call it metabolic priming, to get to heal your metabolism and to get it revving, get it going, get it healthy and strong and vital. And then your diet will be successful after that. And you don't have to suffer through 400 calorie days ever. That's not healthy. That's not sustainable. That's not how we want to live.
So join us next Wednesday. We're going to talk about the solution and how to repair that adapted metabolism. And if you are ready now to have a program to help you get out of a broken adapted metabolism, drop us a comment below and we will send you a message and we can talk out how to do that.
Sure enough. Or go ahead and visit our 15minute.fitness website and see how we can help you. We would love to have you as a client and help you get out of this hole. Okay, that's what we do. And we love you. And we will see you next Wednesday for part 3. How do we get out of this mess? Good night, y'all.
Good night.